Hi everyone, Tara Loretti here. Thanks for joining me again on my channel, Beautiful on the Inside and Out. So today we're going to be talking about part 2 of my girlfriend's video. So this part is going to be really talking about what the enemy of friendships are. Dun dun dun! You know, what are the things that really tear down and can really ruin beautiful relationships. So if you've had, this pitfall in your life, or if you've ever had challenges in your relationship, just go ahead and watch with me as I describe things that really are the enemy of our relationships. Right, so I'm outside today because it is just so beautiful. I just want to be out here as much as possible. And I also want to encourage you guys, get outside, get in the sunlight, because it really does wonders for your mood. I don't know about you, but being locked down in quarantine, if you're watching this, years ahead, we are in 2020. It is the end of June, and we're just starting to come out of the whole COVID lockdown situation. So I have been locked in my house for months, and so now that the weather is finally just really beautiful, I am taking full advantage of this. So I am coming to you with this video from my backyard, guys. And today I just wanted to do a part 2, because in my first video, if you didn't get a chance to watch that, I'm gonna put the link right above here. Go ahead and click that and check it out. The title of that was Girlfriends, Friend or Foe, and that really talked about evaluating our friendships and our relationships and just making sure that they're coming from a healthy place and they're really enriching our lives, and what are some of the things that may cause our relationships to not be so healthy. And there was some tips on there that I didn't get a chance to share. So in this video, I'm really going to be talking about what is specifically the enemy of friendships, or this can really apply to any relationships in our lives, whether they're friendships, significant others, co-workers, family, all of that. This will apply to all relationships specifically. There's a couple things that came to my mind, and this week, even as I was in Bible study, they just leaped off the page. So I'm going to be sharing a couple of verses from the Bible with you as well when it comes to this subject. But what I would have to say is, what is an enemy of relationships is comparison. So what do I mean by that? That is, we can have, a lot of us can suffer from self-hate. I talked about that a little bit in one of my videos at the end, that I specifically had a season in my life where I didn't love myself, and because of that, I couldn't receive love from others well, and also I couldn't give love to others well. And so when we're not happy with ourselves, we can really go into this place of comparison in our relationships, and so we can begin to say, oh, I want that, or am I as good as that friendship or that person? Or even it can be material things like, I don't like my hair and their hair is so much better than mine, and you begin to compare. It's not a healthy thing where you're really truly admiring. It's more comparison and saying what you have is better than mine, or even you can flip it and say what I have is better than yours. You can get into this real rivalry in your relationships, and it really is an enemy of relationships. It's going to cause walls to come up. It's going to cause you to be guarded in those relationships. They'll sense it, even if you're not outward about it, they will begin to sense it, and they'll start putting up walls and barriers towards you, even because they can sense this just unhealthy thing that is starting to resurrect in your heart towards them. And so comparison is really something that you just want to, the moment that you feel it, just begin to deal with that and get it out of your heart, and just really, you know, evaluate, why am I comparing myself against this relationship or this person? Like, what is the root of that? Dig down in the root and dig it up and get it out of there, because it's a weed in your garden, and it'll only destroy that relationship. So comparison is one of the big enemies of relationship that I wanted to share with you. With that, another enemy of relationship is jealousy and envy. Okay, you might think one's the difference, but there is a true difference here. I would say when you begin to compare yourself and you allow it to take root, the fruit of that is envy and jealousy. Okay, so we can have fruit in our life that is both good and not good fruit. And so if we're allowing things to take root in our heart, if we're allowing things to really remain there and we're not dealing with them, we'll begin to act out of that insecurity. So one of the things that we act out is then we begin to get jealous, and then we begin to have envy over those relationships or those different people. And I'm telling you, like, it is just not necessary. It is totally unnecessary, because what you have is perfect. What you have is beautiful. The image of God and how He's created you is just wonderful. And when we begin to get jealous of someone else, we are not fully loving ourselves, like I shared a moment ago. We're not loving the attributes that we have, the characteristics that we have, and we're manifesting that through jealousy and through envy of our other relationships. It can really cause a rift in relationships. It can really cause a strain in relationships. You know, it's just not good fruit, guys. And we want to pluck comparison. We want to pluck up envy. We want to pluck up jealousy, because it will only lead to destruction in your relationships. You know, I can think of so many different examples off the top of my head. You know, one simple example is, for instance, growing up, I have a sister, and she was born with beautiful brown, curly, long hair if she lets it grow out. And it is just gorgeous. And I just loved it so much. Now I have blonde, straight, thick hair. And growing up, even as a child, people would stop at restaurants and just ooh and ah over her beautiful long locks, that she literally looked like Curly Sue, and just was just a gorgeous little girl. But you know, I became so envious of her. I didn't like my hair. It would hurt when you'd comb it, which I know a lot of us have that issue. I'm dealing with, my oldest child has very similar hair to mine, and now I'm getting flashbacks of myself as a child. Every time I go to comb her hair, she's like, no, mommy, no. And I have so much more compassion for my mother now. But you know, I didn't like my hair, and I always wanted my sister's hair. And so I allowed jealousy and envy to come in my heart towards my sister in that way, and just didn't love myself, didn't embrace myself. And that's just a simple thing, and that's an easy way that can wiggle its way in there. And it really was hard, because you know, I just never thought that I was beautiful like my sister. And growing up, I realized that she actually looked at me and felt the same way towards me. Can you believe that? Like, the very same insecurity that I had about wanting her hair. I'll even flash a picture right here. Even when I was young, I was so desperate to have curly hair like my sister that I got a perm. There's a picture of me right there, guys. So unflattering. I was going through such an awkward stage, and I just wanted so desperately to feel beautiful, because I didn't I didn't know the value and beauty that I had just in and of myself. And obviously, as you can see, the curly hair totally didn't work on me. And that's what we do, guys. We go out, spend money seeking to look like different people, seeking to be different than ourselves, but we need to accept and realize how beautiful you are, how beautiful God has made you, that you are special, that you are unique, that the attributes, even the things that you think about yourself are quirky, embrace them because they're special and they're unique to only you. Only you has your set of fingerprints, your attributes. And so when I was able to fully embrace myself and love myself, you know, I was able to just value, pluck that thing out of my heart of that envy and comparison that I had, even towards my own sister. That's a real personal example there, but it's so true, and it's so easily just can sneak in, guys. Guard your hearts with all diligence, because envy, jealousy, comparison just really sneaks its way in. I mentioned to you guys a minute ago that I was a part of my Bible study this week, and I want to read a scripture out of James to you that relates to this. It's in James chapter 4, and I'm going to read out of verses 14. It says, "But if there is bitter jealousy or competition hiding in your hearts, then don't deny it and try to compensate for it by boasting and being phony." How many of us do that? We're so phony. We try to change who we are because we really have competition and jealousy in our hearts. So we're very phony. We're boasting about how awesome we are, but we're hiding our own insecurities. Well, God wants us to deal with those things that are deeply rooted in our hearts. It says in verse 15, "For that has nothing to do with God's heavenly wisdom, but can best be described as wisdom of this world, both selfish and devilish." So wherever jealousy and selfishness are uncovered, you will also find many troubles and every kind of meanness. Now that's the next thing and the last thing I'm going to touch on, that meanness, that fruit that I was talking about. We can both have good fruit and bad fruit from the actions and the things that we allow to be planted inside of us. And so what is this channel all about? It's about being beautiful on the inside and the outside. It's not about just being beautiful materialistically, but it's also about living a beautiful lifestyle. And if we want to do that, we got to uproot selfishness. We got to uproot jealousy, because the only fruit that brings is meanness, competition, selfishness, and it's described here in the world as wisdom of the world, not wisdom of God. And we, as children of God, always want to seek to have godly wisdom. So I'm going to close with this, and I just thank you so much for being with me today as we've discussed these different pitfalls that come in relationship and how we want to identify them quickly so that we can weed them out. So I'm going to close with this same chapter, James 3, verses 17. It says, "But the wisdom from above is always pure, filled with peace, and considerate and teachable. It is filled with love and never displays prejudice or hypocrisy in any form, and it always bears the beautiful harvest of righteousness. Good seeds of wisdom's fruit will be planted with peaceful acts by those who cherish making peace." So guys, if we want to make peace and have beautiful relationships in our life, we need to be teachable. We need to have the fruit of love. We need to love ourselves so that we can love each other well. We need to have the fruit of peace. We need to be teachable. And there's so many other things and attributes that it talks about here in the Word. But I just thank you so much for just being on this journey with me. And as we seek to have beautiful relationships in our life and healthy relationships in our life, ladies. So if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and then don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because every week I have something coming at you about being beautiful on the inside and the outside. All right, until next week, ladies, have a great weekend.